Thank you, Jasmine. So like Jasmine said, my name is Anna. I'm also an optimizer here at Vine Skills. I assist firms launching, optimizing, and all things Filevine. And I've been working within the Filevine universe for about 5 years now, so I'm pretty knowledgeable. Today we're going to be taking a look at the documents section and kind of doc management as a whole. It'll be pretty comprehensive, but don't hesitate to jump in with questions if there's a certain feature that you'd like to know more about, and maybe I don't go into it deep enough. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so here we are, and we're going to be spending most of our time, like I said, in our documents section. So this is a section that is a built-in section inside of Filevine, so you can't really do any customization to it, but there are lots of things that you can do inside of the documents section to really manage, all of those documents that you're dealing with on a regular basis. So I'm first just going to kind of take like a high level look at this section and the different ways that you can view your documents here. When you come in, it's going to default to have your standard folder tree, whatever you have associated with your projects, shown here. And from there, you can click into any of the subfolders that you have. But if you choose this folder icon here at the top, it's going to switch your view and you're going to get your folder tree over here on the left. A lot of people, prefer to see it in this view because if you have lots of subfolders, you can expand those here and see all of them. And then there are a few additional kind of features that you can access when you're looking at it from this view here. You can also sort your documents by most recent or by name. And when you're looking at your documents with this kind of folder tree on the left, you can also hit this little arrow and switch to a folders and docs separate view. This is really helpful because it kind of gives you a super comprehensive list of your documents in one view instead of having to click into each item. So sometimes you want to look at everything all at once and not have to go through each of your folders. You can also here at the top filter your docs. It's a really like basic, simple search functionality, but it's really helpful if you know the name of your document and you just want to search for it real quick, or say Black Panther, and it's going to pull up for us any documents that have that search term in it. So the next kind of piece that I want to look at is going to be document properties. I think this is an overlooked kind of little tool that you have here inside of the document section. So any document that you click on, when you click on it, usually it's going to look like this unless you already have your properties expanded. If you hit this little black circle, it's going to pop out this extra little document properties here. And this first little piece of paper, all you're going to see is a little mini preview of your document. If you hit the eyeball, it's going to open it up into the more standard preview so you can see it in larger scale. So here's our preview here. If you hit the little eye, you're going to get some information about your document. So some deeper level items that you may need from time to time. You'll be able to see where this document's located, the size of the document, when it was uploaded, who uploaded it, any tags that are associated with the document, as well as the ability to add a tag here if you need to. And then if the document is attached to a field inside of the project, it's going to show you here where that is attached. And I actually want to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go and add a document to a, let's see, here we go. Okay, so when you have your documents, spread out through your various sections in these doc upload fields, from the documents section, we're going to be able to see which field that document lives in over here. So we can see that it is attached to fields. It'll load here in just a second. Maybe. While we wait for that to load, you can also see any VineSign jobs associated with this document if you are logged in and have VineSign as a tool. And then a few further document properties. This is some of the kind of metadata that exists within your document that you can see here. I'm going to give this a quick refresh. It's being a little slow. So we'll move on, but it will show you where this document is attached in the project, and you can actually click that link and it will take you directly to that section in your template. This next kind of tab at the top, the little clock with the arrow, this is a super helpful tool. This is going to show you all of your version histories of this document. So for this specific document, we only have one version. Let's see if maybe these have various other versions. So here we can see we have our current version and then this original version. I think they're actually still the same version, but this is what it will look like as you have multiple version histories. You can see whose version that belongs to, so who was working on that document when that version was created. You can download that version, so a previous version, by hitting the little download button here. And then you can also replace the current version right here by uploading a new version. So if you ever make changes and you need to revert back and you made these changes unintended, you can come check this version history for previous versions of the document. The next item we have here is share link. So I'm going to walk through how to create a two-way share link. But if you ever want to just share a single document, you can do that here from this little share link. And again, I'm going to walk through the steps on how to create those share links as we work through this. So those are your document properties. But then you can also see across the top here, we have several options. Some of them disappear when you're not clicked onto a document. And then depending on if you're on a folder, you can see we have a few different options here, and then fewer options on this document. So some of these are pretty straightforward. You can download your document. You can preview it by hitting this little eyeball. If you want to actually open the document and edit it, you can hit these three lines with the pencil. So, you can always edit it by opening the preview and hitting the square with the little pencil, or you can bypass that altogether and just hit these three lines with the pencil. When we get here to the three dots, we've got all kinds of really interesting options here for your document. So again, download, preview. You can email a document straight from your document section, and you can actually email multiple documents. So if you multi-select and you have multiple documents in your list, you have this email option. This is going to kick you out into your default email program, and those documents that you've highlighted will automatically be attached to the email. So it's a quick way to get those documents into an email that you're sending out. You can fax directly from here if you're using Filevine for faxing. So if we say fax, we're going to get our fax prompt. I don't think we have faxing set up in our demo environment, but if you do have faxing, it'll come up with your option to add in the recipient. And then you can convert to a PDF. I get asked this question all the time, and it's actually a really simple process. If you want to convert a Word document to a PDF, you'll come here, you'll highlight it, and then you'll just say to PDF, and Filevine will automatically create that PDF document for you while retaining that original Word version as well. So we'll keep moving through here. We've got our guest share. So if you have any guests in this project, you can hover here and select that guest and share this document with them. You can create a VineSign job directly from your documents section. So if you say VineSign, it's going to send you out to VineSign with that document associated with the project, and you'll walk through those steps to send that document through VineSign. Again, from here, you can create a share link just like you can from this document properties section. I'll walk through that in more detail down the line. One of my favorite little things here, a lot of people don't know about it, is this note this option. So if you want to, maybe create a task associated with this document, or you really just want to see this document in the activity feed. If you say note this, you're going to get this option to create a note for the project with the document attached to it. From here, you can also create a task. So if I wanted to say @Val, please take a look. And save. This is going to create a task. It's going to put it in the activity feed, and we're going to have the document associated with that task. Again, it doesn't have to be a task. It can just be a note. Sometimes you really want to have a document in the activity feed. That's one way you can go about doing that. All right, so rename your document. That's a big one. People like to know how to rename the document. And again, it's pretty simple. You hit the three dots, we say rename, and you can just rename that document right here. Moving and copying documents. So you can move and copy documents from one project to another. You can do this by a single document using these little three dot options and moving and copying here. Or again, if you multi-select these documents, you can actually move or copy them in bulk. So when you select your documents that you would like to move, you will come here and you'll search for the project that you want to move them to. And there you can actually select exactly which folder you'd like these documents to go to. And then you can elect to either copy them from this project to the new project. So the versions will stay here and copy to the other project, or move them all together. So copying is really useful if you have related cases and you want those documents in both projects. Moving documents is really useful if maybe you've accidentally uploaded a document to the wrong project and you just need to move it from one to the other. You can also actually create a new folder in the kind of source project from this screen. So if you want to create a brand new folder to say like related documents, we can create this folder and then we can copy our documents to that related documents folder. And now they exist in both projects. All right. And so then you can also add tags as you can all over Filevine. This is a really great way to kind of sort your documents if you need an additional filter on them. So you can add a tag directly from here. I'm going to keep moving across this bar at the top. This little page, I have been in Filevine for years, and it wasn't until in the last couple of years that I realized that you could actually do this from here. But if you hit this button, you get the option to create a brand new document inside of Filevine. So you don't have to create it on your desktop and then upload it. You can just create a Word document right from Filevine or an Excel sheet or a PowerPoint presentation, and it's going to create that for you directly inside of the project. It also, just so you know, you can't see it off screen, but it automatically opened it in Microsoft Word for me, so I could start working in that. All right, so some of these features here.
I was just going to say, you'll see a lock on that new blank document that was created, indicating somebody has it open and is working on it. So that's just a, hey, make sure you're not making any changes or edits. And then the one just below it has a little person icon next to it, indicating that this is being shared with a guest user. That way you know which documents are shared with other folks, so that way you don't put anything in the document that you wouldn't want that guest user to see.
That's exactly right. And you'll also see that little person if you create a shared link with an outside party as well. If you do have a little lock on there and you're not the one editing it, if you try and open this document, you're going to get an error message, although I'd already closed it, and it will tell you, it'll pop up with a red flag. You may have seen it, so-and-so, this document is locked for editing because so-and-so is using it. If you have it open, it will say your name. If somebody else has it open, it will say their name. If it says your name and you know you don't have the document open, then you can just unlock that document. So it says in use by null here. But if it is being locked because somebody else is using it, it's really important to not just unlock it and start editing, because those changes can overwrite each other. So make sure that you don't just unlock a document for fun. So these two features here are some of, I think, my favorite and the most useful features inside of the documents section. This first icon here, this rubber stamp, this is going to be your bait stamp feature. And so you can do your bait stamping directly inside of Filevine. You can select one document to bait stamp, or again, you can select multiple documents here. And once you have the document selected that you're looking to stamp, you can hit that little stamp logo and it's going to bring you to this screen. You can see the documents you selected and you have the ability to kind of drag and drop those in the order that you want to stamp them. If you have an additional document that's maybe on your computer that hasn't been uploaded to Filevine yet, you can add that in at this time too. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of additional documents here.
And there's a question, maybe once you're finished there.
Yeah.
Is that unlock feature available based on permissions or can anyone unlock?
I am pretty certain that you may have to be a project admin to unlock it now that I think about it. Is that your recollection as well, Jasmine?
Yeah, I'm just double checking on Filevine's support website just in case.
I think, Derek, I think you're correct. I think you do have to be a project admin, not an org admin, but a project admin.
So it says that a locked document will be automatically unlocked after 24 hours, and an org admin is also able to override a locked document if unlock is needed.
Okay. Good to know. Good question, Derek. So yeah, it is based on permissions. So if you see it locked by somebody that's not you, in that instance, you can reach out and say, hey, are you editing this document for real? I need to get in there. If it says that it is locked by you, you should have the ability to remove yourself from that lock, if I am not mistaken, because there's a kind of another workaround. So I'm going to finish going through these bait stamps and then I'm going to go back and see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So once you have all of your documents that you're looking to stamp in the order that you want to stamp them, we'll say next. And here you're going to select which folder you want these documents to live in. And then down here is where you're going to pick your bait stamping options. So you can enter a prefix here if you use a prefix. You'll enter your number of digits over here. And on the right, you'll see a preview as you add in these items. So we're going to say we're starting at, I don't know why I did it that way. We're going to say 4 digits and we're starting at page 1. So you'll have your number of digits, the page that you're starting at, and then you can get a little more advanced. You can move where you want to see that stamp. It will default to bottom right. And then you can either have it applied to all the pages or just the first page. Again, it will default to all pages. And then you have a few font options to choose from here. So we'll change our font, we'll change our size. You can have it automatically increase the margins for you if you'd like to. So I'm going to start our stamp. So it's working through all of these documents and stamping them for us. And it's going to put them into a Bates stamped document folder under whichever folder you've selected. So it will create a subfolder. And so you can go into each of these documents now and we can see our stamps here at the bottom. It's really little because I made it size 6, but you can see your stamps there. It does not remove these documents from where they came from. You will still have your original documents with no stamps. So it's making a duplicate and then stamping those documents. So let me know if you guys have any questions about bait stamping. And I just saw one come through. Fillable PDF to a client with a link for them to send form and other docs back. So to send a fillable PDF to a client, there are a few different ways you can do this. VineSign is going to be a good way to do that if you have VineSign. If you're not utilizing VineSign, you can create form fields inside of your document section here. And I'm actually going to cover that closer to the end of the session. I'm going to go through some of the PDF editing options. But VineSign is going to be probably the most straightforward way to send a fillable PDF to a client that they can fill out and then send it right back to you. And it kind of happens in an automated format. I'm going to attempt to lock a document and unlock it, not in an org admin capacity, but just, okay. So this document is locked. I think so I actually think that they changed this a little bit because Jasmine, do you remember there used to be like a red option here where you could unlock the document from just yourself. It wasn't like a global org admin. So it looks like right now you're gonna have an org admin unlock those if they are locked. All right, so kind of back to our toolbar here at the top. Another big feature, super helpful, one that I used all the time when I was working at the law firm was the combine multiple docs. So it's exactly what it sounds like. You can take multiple documents. If you select more than one, that's when you're gonna be able to pull those in together. So we're going to say combine multiple docs. It looks a lot like the Bates stamp setup. You're just not going to be adding that stamp information. So again, you can drag and drop them into the order that you want them to come out in. You can attach additional documents to this list here. You can even insert a blank document if you want to. Once you've done that, again, you're going to say next. And here you have the option to rename this document. So we're going to say test combined document. And again, select the location that you want this document to go. Once you've named it, you have it set where you want it to go. You're going to say combine, and it will run through the combining. You can see it happening down here. It will spit it out in a new document. So again, you're not going to be losing any of the original documents. And you can open this up and we can see we've got all of these documents combined into one. So super simple to combine documents. If you combine kind of a mishmash of Word docs and PDF docs, it will convert all of those Word docs to PDF documents automatically, and it all comes out in one PDF. Is there a limit to how many docs you can combine? I don't think so. I've not heard of a limit, but I will say that the more documents you combine, you can see down here, we've got kind of our progress bar. It will take longer, the more documents that you have in your combining tool. And I would say it's also subject to the doc file limit size. So I think it's, what is it now? 25 gigabytes, which is a huge amount. Like it's it's not small. So you should probably be pretty safe combining a large amount of documents. Just count on it maybe taking a few minutes if you're doing, hundreds and hundreds of documents in one combine.
And there's also only certain file types that are accepted in Filevine. So like .docx, Excel, PowerPoint, and some of the picture formats. But I've seen like a .hetc or something like that as a picture file type, and those are not accepted in Filevine. So just some things to remember there.
Great. Thanks, Jasmine. Okay, so that's your doc combining tool. And then finally, you can upload files. That's a pretty easy one. You can click here, it'll give you your upload option. You can drag and drop files into Filevine as needed. So now I'm going to move into how to create a two-way share link for your documents. And what a two-way share link does, instead of just sharing documents with an external party, it allows that external party to also upload documents back into whichever folder or folders you have shared with them. So you cannot share this main folder at the top of the tree. You have to do it at the kind of subfolder level throughout this, this project. But when you have your tree open on the left, if you click on that, you're going to get these options. You can rename the folder, you can add a subfolder, but then you have a share folder option. And when you click on this, you're going to get this create doc share link. It'll tell you how many documents you're sharing here. And then you have to select who can view this doc. You have to set a password to be able to enable two-way sharing. So you're going to want to pick this middle option. And then you're going to want to set a password. And this password can be whatever you need it to be based on the parameters set forth by Filevine here. But I do recommend that you come up with kind of a standard password convention if this is something that you're going to use regularly. That way it's just pretty easy to remember how your passwords are set up. So it could have, a birth date or something along those lines in there. But for our purposes, I'm going to keep it really simple. And then you're going to want to be sure to check this box to enable two-way sharing. If you click here, you're going to be able to see which folders you're sharing through this two-way share link. And then you need to select an expiration date. There has to be an expiration date. You have to have one on there. They have a couple of presets, so you can do a day, 7 days. If you need this share link to last for an extended period of time, you can do a custom kind of expiration date here. And if you enter those days in, it will actually tell you exactly when this share link will expire. Something that's kind of important to consider here is that there's not kind of a global way to see who you are sharing folders with. So you may want to keep track of this on your own so you know which folders are out there. Like we mentioned earlier, you'll see this once I create this link, there will be a little black stick figure person on there so you know that folder is shared with someone. But again, there's not a global way to see all of the projects that you have share links created in. So just be careful when you're creating your expiration date, because if you put something in like 10,000 days, then somebody's going to have access to that for 10,000 days. So I'm just going to set this at 1 day for our purposes. Once you say save, you're going to get the share link. So it's going to generate that link for you. And it's going to kind of have an overview of how you've set this up. But from here, you can either copy this link, copy to clipboard, or you can hit this email button and it will create kind of a default email with this link in it for you. On the other side, when somebody receives this link, it's going to look like this. So they're going to click on that link and they're going to have this enter doc password. So don't forget to give them the password that you created for it. And when we put this in here, we're going to be able to see those documents that we shared with them. They can come in here, they can see each of the documents within the folders. They can upload documents as well. They can download them from here. So this is a really useful tool if you are kind of sending lots of documents back and forth with a client or another third party. You can create these share links to make it a little easier, and these documents will go directly back into the project that this share link is associated with. And then again, just for demonstration purposes, now you can see our little person there, and then on each document inside of the folder as well. And then if we come back to kind of the beginning where we're looking at these properties, we can see the two-way share link, and it will show you when it expires, who created it. You can click here and kind of edit that share link further if you want to. If you want to extend the expiration date, you can. If you want to remove the share link altogether, you want to kind of revoke their access, you can do that here. And now that share link is no longer valid. All right. So that is kind of a overview of everything that we sort of see here in the main document section. I'm going to get now into sort of some document editing specifically. Let's see. On this two-way share link, can the client drop in a photo or other document of their choosing? That's absolutely correct. Like Jasmine said, there are some file types that Filevine doesn't support. So there are certain photo extensions. I think it's like iPhone pictures specifically, maybe that and there is a list in the help section on Filevine's website of which documents they do and do not support. But if it's a document that is supported by Filevine, then the client can upload any of those documents into that two-way share link. Good question.
And I posted the link to the Docs Combiner support article. At the very bottom, they have the file types that are supported, so you can always reference that as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Jasmine. All right, so let's take a look at some doc editing, and I'm going to specifically look at PDFs. We can look at some Word doc stuff, but I think PDF is the more important and native inside of Filevine if you're using Docs Plus. So if you have a PDF and you want to do some tweaking or editing to it, if you double click on this document, it will open you up into the document previewer. This is not the PDF editor, you're just previewing the document here. So from here, we can either hit, again, this square with the little pencil. If you hover over it, it will say edit this document. Or we can skip the preview altogether and just hit these 3 lines with the pencil. And that's going to open up into the editor itself. They look really similar. Sometimes I'm like, why can't I edit? It's because I'm in the previewer. You know very quickly if you were in the editor, if you have these options across the top here, view, annotate, shapes, so on. So I'm going to hit some of the high level PDF editing items. There are all kinds of things you can do in here. We could probably do like a whole free help on PDF editing alone. But I'm going to hit some of the ones that I think are more widely used. So here on the left, if you hit this panel button, you're going to be able to see all of the pages within your PDF document. Here you can drag and drop the order. You can rotate if you would like to. You can remove pages. And then you can also extract pages from a PDF document. So I'm actually going to open up one of the combined ones. So we've got lots of pages to work with here. Let's see. All right. So here we have all of our pages. We can drag and drop. And let's say I just want to extract these first 2 pages here. I can multi-select them and say extract. And it's going to extract them out into a PDF document. So it downloads out separately. You can also replace these pages or insert pages from a PDF separately. So if you have a PDF that you want to insert into the existing PDF, you can do that from here, or you can add in blank pages if you'd like to. So that's just kind of arranging your pages, pretty straightforward and basic. These tools across the top here are going to be your kind of deep editing tools. So right now we're in view, which means we're just looking at it. But as we work through here, we have our annotate tools. So this is kind of your text boxes, your drawing. You can add comments here. So all of these options across the top, if you hover over them, it will tell you what that tool is. So we've got our free text tool. So free text tool, we can click anywhere in the document and start typing. We can change the font, we can change the color. You know, very straightforward free text tool. And then our note, this is kind of the equivalent of a comment, right? So I want to leave a comment here. We can come over here and say, hi, this is a comment. The comments that you create in the Filevine PDF editor, if you export this to a PDF, if you download this into an Adobe PDF format, those comments will be retained. So you will still see these comments outside of Filevine if you download this document. So these are your annotation tools. If you want to add shapes to your document, you can do that here. You can draw in different shapes, lines, change the colors, you know, shapes. I think that this redact tool is probably a little more useful to us. So with the redact tool, you can go through and redact whatever information you would like to from your document. You'll want to make sure that you have the correct tool selected here. So this first one is going to be your mark for redaction. If you hit the arrow, you can kind of format what you want that to look like. So if you don't want your redaction to come out as a black box, you can change it to a purple box. But if you hover here, you can see that this is a mark for redaction. So that's not actually going to necessarily redact yet. And you can kind of use the different color codings if you need to do that. So I'm going to go through and start redacting the items that I want to redact. Redact. So you can see over here that it is adding these redactions. Once you have once you've marked everything that you want for redacting, you have you have to tell Filevine that you want this redaction to actually occur. So when I save it, it's only marked currently. Apply. So isn't there a mass apply option, Jasmine? I thought there was like a button where you could apply all of these redactions at once instead of going through each individually.
Yeah, I thought so too, but maybe they've changed this.
I
At the
was
top right,
redact pages up
right
here.
there. Is that?
Save
So-
as, search and redact. Oh, you can, oh, that's cool. You can search specific text here and redact it. So if you're redacting a specific name, you can search that here. Let's see. Search. And so it shows you here how many there are, and you can apply all of these redactions in one fell swoop. So we can say apply. It's important to note when you redact in a Filevine document, once you've done it, it's irreversible. You cannot remove the redactions. Once it's done, it's done. So we're going to say apply, and it applied all of my redactions as well. So you can see now redacted, those are all gone. Any changes that you make in Filevine or in the PDF editor specifically, you'll want to make sure that you hit this save button. It's one of the few places in Filevine that it doesn't like kind of yell at you if you don't hit save. So there have been many times that I have edited a PDF and then didn't save it and didn't realize I hadn't saved it because I went on to do something else. So make sure you hit that save button when you're working on your PDFs. Here we have these insert tools, and some of these are, we've got these kind of cool stamps. You can create custom stamps if you use these little sign here flags. But one that I think is really helpful is this signature insert. So you can upload a signature, you can draw a signature, you can type a signature, you can change the color here. So I'm going to create it. And so this signature can be popped in anywhere in the document that you need to pop that signature in. So that's pretty helpful. You can insert images, file attachments, and call outs as well from this insert option. I'm going to kind of breeze over measure. You can set up measurements here. This is helpful if you have like accident diagrams that are to scale. You can use these measuring tools. But I don't know a lot of firms that use the measuring tools pretty regularly. But these edit and form functions, these are the big ones. So with this edit, when you click on it, kind of nothing happens. You get these three little options here. So we have a crop tool. You can crop a page if you need to. We have a snipping tool, but then we have this additional edit option. So when we say edit here, it's going to allow us to actually come in and edit the text of the PDF if we need to. Statutory deadline of 9/10/2024. So we can add additional text here. We can edit the PDF text. It's important to know that this isn't perfect. It's not Microsoft Word. So sometimes the formatting can be a little strange, but it is good for some kind of on the fly. You need to add in a date here that didn't get added in. Again, make sure that you hit the save button when you do any editing here so that it actually saves it. And so now we can see we've added that date into the document. And then finally, the form tool. So this is going to go back to that question that was asked earlier. While VineSign is going to be your most straightforward answer for that, you can also add form fields to any PDF that you want to, and then send it out to a client. So up here across the top for our form fields, you can see we have a text field, we have free text, we can add in checkboxes, radial dials, drop downs, list boxes. But this text field is going to be, a pretty common one if you're adding form fields to some type of form inside a Filevine. So you can just literally drag and add in the field that you want to add. You can name it. So we're going to say like first name. You can add a default value. You can make it required. You can have field indicators, so it will point to the field as they work through the document. Enter name. So we're going to say, okay, so now we've got our field. And then if you click on the field, you can actually change kind of the styling of it. So, you know, I want the outline to be purple and the fill to be white. I don't want to see the gray. You can change kind of all of that coloring there. We can add in our radial dials. And again, you can rename these as you go through. You can make them required. You can change the size. It can be a little tedious, but it is really helpful if you need to create a fillable form. Much like making sure that you save your PDF documents as you're working on them, if you are adding form fields to a PDF, you have to hit apply fields for those fields to actually take effect. So when we say apply fields, we now have our form fields. You can see here, I can click into that radial button. I can type here and say, what happens? And now we've created a very, very basic form. So those are kind of the high level PDF editing tools. Feel like that's a ton of information that we have gone over. So I want to kind of open it up for any kind of lingering questions. If there's any feature that you guys want me to sort of circle back to, I'd love to open it up for that now.
While we wait, thank you so much, Anna. That was super helpful. Hopefully, you guys got some good content. Again, if you have questions, feel free to pop those in. I did post some links to our support plans. So if you're like, hey, we need help doing these fillable forms, or really anything Filevine or Filevine adjacent. So lead docket, Outlaw or doc assembly, Periscope, automations. We do it all. We also have finance skills. So if you don't currently have an accountant that you work with, but you're looking to work with one, we can definitely help you out there. Feel free to go to our site under that support plans to kind of see costs for all of those options. Looks like we have a couple questions, so we'll get to those. Can note and bookmarks originally created in Adobe be edited in Docs Plus?
So I don't want to say like yes, absolutely, but I am pretty certain that the answer is yes, because those notes and comments they do come out of Filevine into Adobe. It's worth testing it. I would say upload one in there and see if those notes and bookmarks come over. I know for sure that they do come out of Filevine into Adobe in that direction though. And then how to search for a word in a document or a claim number when I don't know the project. That's a great question. So in Filevine, if you come here to documents at the top, it's going to bring you to kind of this overarching documents hub, right? And from here, you can search for you know, keywords that are in the document, keywords that are in the title. If you know the folder that the document lives in, you can get super, super granular with this. So if you don't know the project, but you do know a claim number, you can come over here and say, I know that the claim number contains 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can apply these filters. Maybe. Why isn't it letting me apply? Is it our test environment?
I usually do it in the search bar at the top of the section.
I do the filters a lot. But you can also do that, and it'll do a really comprehensive search of the documents. So it'll search for anything with 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can see we've got 103 results. So here's this invoice number 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you do have kind of those key pieces of information, you can search for that here. And then kind of one of the things I pointed out earlier is in those document properties, something that's important to note, just sort of some background information about Filevine is if when you upload documents to Filevine, they're automatically OCR'd as you upload them. So when you come to these properties and you come to your little info, you can see here OCR completed. That's what makes these documents searchable and kind of that high level overview.
Awesome. Thanks. So yeah, if you are needing help, definitely feel free to reach out. We have some awesome members, as you saw in Anna here today, that can help you out with your needs in Filevine and Filevine related items. We also do these free help sessions every Wednesday. I see a couple of familiar names here. We do record these sessions. They're up on our website. I included the link to the recorded sessions in the chat as well, so you can easily access those. There was a survey that went out for you all to let us know what topics you all want to see. So feel free to fill that out. That way we can start incorporating those into our weekly sessions as well. If you all are attending Lex, which is like too short, less than 2 weeks, 2 weeks, I don't even know. It's coming up super quick. But if you all are attending Lex, definitely look out for us. We're going to have a booth there, and we're hosting, I think, the first night of activities. So feel free. We'd love to meet you all in person. If you have not bought your ticket to Lex but are planning on going, feel free to reach out to us. We can get you a discount code. That way you all can shave a little bit off of kind of the price of attending Lex this year. So yeah, if nothing else, thank you all so much for joining us. Again, Anna, thank you so much for all of your wonderful knowledge. It's always a pleasure. And we hope to see you all in a future free help session.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.